Hi everyone, Jonathan Whitelaw here, and welcome to my contribution for the virtual Noir at the Bar for April. Just obviously like to say that I hope everybody's feeling okay, staying safe. Massive thanks to the organisers for having me once again. This is actually unbelievably my third Noir at the Bar, so I'm absolutely delighted to be reading some work for you this evening. I will be reading from my latest novel, The Man in the Dark, which is the second in the Hellcorp series, and essentially follows the devil solving mysteries as he hopes to get a holiday. In the first novel, as I'm sure a lot of the Noir at the Bar fans know, he had to solve the murder of a man who took 40 years to die. In the second one, he's back, and he's up to his usual tricks, up to his pitchfork in trouble. This time he's trying to find a woman who has been kidnapped by international terrorists. But, as there's always a sting in the tail when it comes to the devil, or certainly the devil in my stories, Brutus and Cassius, the famous Brutus and Cassius, are trying to overthrow him in the underworld. So I thought I would read a small section from the novel for my little contribution, and I do hope you enjoy. He stopped a few hundred yards from the media circus and thought. The top of the Cade's house poked up above the trees just outside. He resolved that it would probably be better going in from behind, a tactic he'd employed more times than he cared to admit. Ducking off the street, he pushed his flabby human body on through the darkness. Passing two cars and a garage, he slipped into the back garden of the house next door. The next step was getting up and over the fence. You're loving this, aren't you? That's you, the big you upstairs. He whispered, not wanting to disturb the neighbours. You're loving me skulking about in the dark, climbing fences and getting grass stains on my trousers like a bloody boarding school tearaway. You'll pay for this, old man. The devil hauled himself up onto the fence. One leg was over, then the other. But as he dropped down the other side, an almighty rip echoed about the garden. He landed on the grass and felt something drafted about his legs. Wonderful, he said, examining the leg-long tear in his jogging bottoms. Just what I needed. As he untangled himself from the fence, the garden was suddenly illuminated. The lights were switched on inside the house, two patio doors showing the modest interior of the Cade's home. The devil crouched down low, hiding on a rose bush. He peered through the leaves and shrubs to watch what was going on. A man appeared in what was clearly the kitchen. He looked dishevelled, unshaven, his short hair sticking out in tufts. His eyes were red from crying and he wore a look of sadness and melancholy about him. His t-shirt was stained, jeans ragged and frayed. We must use the same tailor, Mr. Cade, the devil whispered. Cade was talking to someone, his lips moving. He busied himself around the kitchen, fetching two mugs from a cupboard and boiling the kettle. He looked tired, worn out, everything about him was grey and sad. The devil had no time for moping or self-loathing, and this man reeked of it. He moved to try and see who Cade was speaking to, but it was impossible. The garden was flat and exposed. He would be seen as soon as he moved. Instead, he crouched there watching, trying to decipher what Cade was saying. Police, maybe, he said. Something about Medina and missing. This is useless. I'm learning nothing here. I need to be where the action is. The devil manoeuvred himself and leaned forward. As he did so, he stepped on something furry. There was a loud wail and a hiss as a dark black cat shot out from the rose bush beneath him and took off across the garden. Cade turned to the patio doors. He looked out, confused, eyes jumping from one corner to the next, wondering what the noise was. The devil was in agony as he held his position, knees aching, muscles burning, his human body locked still. After an eternity, Cade turned back into his kitchen, the bald patch of his crown glistening in the light. The devil unlocked himself and stifled a sigh. He carefully pushed himself free of the bush and angled along the dark perimeter of the block of light coming from the house. A small extension stretched out from the main building, its roof slightly sloped. The devil rolled up his sleeves and hoisted himself up onto a window before clambering onto the roof. The sheet metal was slippery with moss and he almost fell twice. Taking tiny steps, his arms outstretched, he managed to navigate his way up the main building. A window was waiting for him there, and he examined the frame. It was thin and weak, and he thought about smashing it open. Then he noticed the little gap between the sill and the frame, gave a quick look upwards and at the starry night sky. "Okay," he said, "maybe we're even." He lifted the window and dropped inside. He was in a bedroom, the bed lying unmade ahead of him. Clothes were strewn about the floor and a suitcase was propped up near the door. Light from the hall reflected off the glass of picture frames hanging on the wall. The devil took a closer look, treading lightly on the floorboards. There was nothing remarkable about the photos, all humdrum stuff. A man and a woman smiling at the camera, one of them in formal dress, the woman in white, the man in a tuxedo. Another saw them on holiday, both wearing what appeared to be mouse ears, standing in front of a large ornate castle. As the devil looked closer, he could see that the man was the same person downstairs. "Cade," he whispered, "and I assume this is your missing wife?" He tapped the glass on another picture, this time just of the woman. She was attractive, well-groomed, someone who took great pride in her appearance. While the devil had no real qualification in human dynamics, he sensed a discrepancy somewhere. Looking back at the pictures of them together, he couldn't help but wonder if she could do a lot better. "Doing well for yourself, Cade," he said. "At least you were till she was kidnapped." The sound of raised voices distracted him. He crept over to the bedroom door and listened. Somebody was shouting. Angry, aggressive, it was a man's voice, but the devil couldn't make out what he was saying. A woman, the tone, the sharp little sentences. Laurie, definitely Laurie. Definitely Laurie was trying to calm him down. Clearly wasn't working. So there we go, folks. Just a very short extract there from my latest novel, The Man in the Dark, which is available now. I do hope everybody stays safe, everybody stays well, and I look forward to hearing everyone else's contributions to the virtual Noir at the Bar.